Hey, what's going on, everybody? Dave back again, and today we're going to be going over the Master Grade Hyaku-Shiki 2.0 Master Grade from Bandai. This is brought to you by Hobbysearch. Again, I want to thank them for sending this out for review. And let me tell you, this is kind of a pain in the rear kit to try and get the right balance of brightness, and yet not so bright that it's too shiny and you can't see anything. Yeah, so I may end up playing with the exposure a little bit just so I can show you guys details and everything. So here is everything pretty much laid out. I do have a little pile of stuff over here that were extras. Excuse me. One of the things that is extras, which is actually great for you, is on one of the runners you do end up with an extra antenna from one of the runners. Now these parts are for the balut system, I believe. These came off the runners. You do end up with an extra clip, which is for the bazooka, which I will show you that here in a little bit. Alright, so let me bring you guys down a little bit closer, or a lot closer, and start off with this guy. Now with this, let me do it this way. Alright, so here's the head, and you're going to end up seeing, I can see it on camera as well as in person, you're going to end up with lines like this in here no matter what you end up doing. Now I don't know if you guys can end up seeing or not, but you do end up with different tones of this gold depending on the plate, where it was plated. I don't know if it's going to come through on camera. You can see there's one tone there, and if I flip it around, it's a lighter tone over on this side. Now my suggestion to you guys, now you can just build this up and, you know, snap it up, put it on the shelf, and be happy with it. Another thing I want to mention is I did not line this at all. So anything that looks like lining with the gold, enough shadow, natural shadows fall in that I didn't really need to. But what I would suggest is stripping the gold off of here. You know, seriously, get yourself some Alclad, and you can either do it the chrome and then the orangey yellow over it, which it makes a fantastic gold color, or you can just use the Alclad gold. Works awesome. To strip off the gold off of these, you can either use simple green and soak it, or you can purple power and like 5 minutes, and you know the gold will be completely off. So now I do have this faceplate that's in here. Now what's interesting is in the instructions it tells you to put the sticker on behind the clear piece, which is kind of interesting. It gives it a kind of a cool effect, I think. And then of course you got the green sticker there, green sticker on the back. But yeah, you do end up with blemishes on here. You can't get away with it with any of these plated kits. You're going to have seam lines, mold lines, things like that, despite this kit being almost completely undergated. Here again is your extra antenna. That'll come in handy just in case you end up breaking it off. For your other faceplates, you end up with this one, which this sticker I have on the front, which is just your plain black. And of course my favorite, this one, which on the plastic itself it does have raised detail so that you could paint this black and do a clear red on there. Getting those out of the way. Moving on to the shoulder pieces. Now everything is undergated, but you still end up with marks like this on the backside where you end up seeing them. Now I do like the added detail. You can see the red that's up in here. You can panel line that for extra detail. You get the clip-on shoulder pieces instead of it being you know, the rod through the hull. These will actually clip on, so that's a nice feature. You do get some movement in here with this. You do get separate pieces for around the vents, which is nice. This is actually this, and this is actually all one piece that snaps in. So that's the same with both shoulder pieces. With your chest unit here, you do get some pivot out with the shoulder, and you do get some up and down. That's about as high as it'll go. It will go down that far. The neck, no side to side, but you do get forward to back. You do get forward to back on the ab crunch. And speaking of, you have the cockpit here, and I don't have a pilot in there, so you can't see it. Now, one of the features is this is supposed to be able to swing shut, but this is a pain in the ass to do. You can do it, you just kind of have to wiggle it to get it to do so. You get one joint down here which will attach to the waist, one joint back here for the backpack, some gold trim, and the only thing hindering this from going forward anymore are these gold pieces. Moving our way down to the waist, you get these side skirts, which are just on a ball joint. Now you get, for your leg attachment, you get these, which is really nice. I'm not sure what you would end up doing, needing to be able to do this kind of together, because it won't end up doing it unless you have the legs kicked up going that way. But it is nice to have that option on there. The back skirt, you do get some movability. On here, this slides up and down, and you get your beam saber handles, again in gold, and these will actually snap in like so. Maybe. If I can keep from dropping them on the floor. Should go in about like so. Alright. Now this would end up looking, of course, a lot better if I had lined it. But again, it's just going to get stripped down. So, but lots of good little detail, lots of poking through. Like, this is not panel line. This is actually cutouts in the armor, so that the backside of the skirt is showing through. Good mobility. These are just into a poly cap there, so they can and will pop loose. You do end up with more side to side movement in that joint there. Moving our way down the legs. Now I do have to say, I realize it's the design, but I was a little disappointed in the legs. And the reason being is they're just kind of plain. You get, of course, your joint here for the upper. You'll get that part that folds. That part that folds. So you do get good mobility as far as bending wise. I don't know. I think it should have more armor on it. But that's just me. You do get some funky pieces that move. Like this will move. But if you shove it all the way down in there, you're going to have to get something to pry it back up. So I've just been leaving it like this. You do get a little bit of mobility with that. A little bit of detail on the backside. You do get this big piston that goes together up here. So you can see how that ends up going together. Again, poke through details on here. You've got the side vents or thrusters for the legs. More details that poke through here. For the foot, you can get a nice tip down of the toe. The foot will fold back like so. forward. The only thing hindering it is it hitting this, and you could get even more if you wanted to do something crazy. And you do get some side to side. So all in all, not bad as far as posability, and it is rather stable standing. I'm not going to be putting it on a stand. Moving on to the arms. The arms, again, very plain, almost high grade-ish. You get the upper swivel up here. You get a bendable part there. Another bendable. Now, one of the cool things that this does have is on here you have the red piping that snaps in, and then you have the silver part that will snap in on that. So it gives it some good detail. Just your regular wrist joint on there, nothing special. You do have this thumb piece which is thrust out, which I really like to see because it leaves room for weapons to be held. This can have either the rifle or either gun or a beam saber held in either hand. It does have these flip outs, which you end up seeing with some of the newer master grades. Some of the real grades I think have it. They're micro. You do get the single first digit, then the 3 that are attached, and then of course you get the knuckles that are posable there. The thumb, it's all one piece. It does want to pop out fairly easily, and it is really loose in there, so just be cautious of that. Good venting over here. I mean, you get some good movement all the way around. You get some other movement that's right there too. So you could have him like picking his nose or something. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so there is that. Moving on to some other things. Again, we went over the beam saber. I think a cat hair just flew in my nose. That's not no bueno with that. Alright, beam saber. Looks cool with that. Very Star Wars-ish. Alright, with your rifle, you get the Bandai gold injection with that. Some blue. You do get the fold out tab so that when it's in the hand you can have a tab that goes in that way, and then a tab that this tab will go into the hand. Makes it very secure. You can have that folded like that, and then there is, if I can get it, maybe not, probably not, knowing my luck. Come out, get out. Alright, well, trust me, there's a piece in here that flips up to be able to mount this onto the backpack. So I would imagine most people are going to have this mounted in the hand as it should be. Alright, then you get the bazooka. Now this piece isn't movable. You can remove it if you want, if it's unsightly while he's holding it. It does have the flip out tab for the hand, does fold up, and will mount onto the backpack as such. Does have the clip, and these can be popped up and removed. They are just like these, but you got the ammo clip that goes in there. Very plain, nothing really to write home about. With the backpack, with these, you do get you can pretty much do anything you want to with these. And let me zoom out. So you can pretty much do anything you want with these. They fold around. You can put them in any position you want. You got these cables that are on here. This part attaches to the back. This is where your weapons are going to attach. So if we were doing this, that would snap on just like so. Same way with the rifle on the other side, which I guess would come in handy if you've got the big gun pack you know, you can store his rifles on there. But that's as far as the wings bend that way. Then you can have them folded that way while it's on his back, just however dramatic that you want it to be. Again, that's all up to your imagination on there. Alright guys, so that is pretty much it for the overview. Now, one thing that you will probably notice that I didn't do with this, that I do with most of my reviews, is besides panel lining, I didn't put any decals on the kit itself. They are still over here. Reason being, they kind of get lost on the gold. So that's one of the reasons that I didn't put them on there, and I didn't feel that it really needed it. It is a classic kit. It looks really good. And stick with me. I'm going to cut right now, put the sucker all together, put him up in a pose, and then we'll go over my final thoughts and everything. So I will be right back. Alright guys, so here we are with the build up and kind of final overlook on this. All in all, I think it's a great kit. Do I think it's worth the average of what, $55, $59 US dollars for the work that has to go into it? I don't think so. I don't know if you guys can catch on camera, there's a big bold line right here, and that is mainly one of the reasons why. It is a great design. I love the design. I'm not a big Zeta series fan myself, mainly because there's too many transforming suits, and you guys know how I feel about transforming suits. But you know, the Hyaku-Shiki is an awesome kit. It is iconic. Personally myself, if you're wanting to get this to strip off the gold, do a custom paint and everything on it, then awesome, go for it. If you can get it from Hobbysearch, you know, with the yen being down and everything, it can be a steal. I would definitely do that. One of the things I meant to mention, and you're probably not going to be able to see it, but behind the first digit on here, they're actually, I think it's their machine gun or Gatling gun ports on here, but there are details behind the finger, so when it's like this, there's actually a gun barrel behind there. I forgot to mention that earlier. I just wanted to say that real quick. But if you're getting this to do a custom and repaint it and everything, it is a definite buy. But if you're wanting something to just snap up, put on your shelf and everything, I personally think you're going to be disappointed in it. Once you start panel lining it and stuff, the odds of the coating reacting with the enamel thinner and stuff are going to be very high. There are blemishes and stuff in the coating that's on here. There's inconsistencies with the coating across all of the gold. It's not uniform. It's very spotty. But as far as detail, you know, you guys have great things like this where, you know, you could mask off and do in darker details that are in there. You know, I love the whole thing in general. But as far as, like I said, as far as a display piece as is, it's no bueno on that. Definitely get it to paint and detail. That would be my recommendation. So this is kind of a thumbs up, thumbs down review on this. Great design, great concept. From what I understand of the original, which I have not owned, this is a great improvement on that, with great mobility. But I think they just failed with the gold on here. I personally, I would have just rather had the original, you know, shiny gold plating like that or on the Phoenix. You know, I think it would have looked better. Speaking of, you know, personally, I think it would have looked better like that. He's all bestie and stuff. You know, if they had done the same thing with the undergating that they did with if they'd done that with this. But if they'd done this coating on this armor, that it would be a definitely, oh hell yes, I'd buy it. I'd buy 2 of them. But as it is with the satin gold and the inconsistencies and everything, buy it to strip it. Like I said, simple green or purple power for 15-20 minutes. It's not going to ruin the plastic at all. You know, they had great thing. Get out of the way. One of the things, I don't know if you guys can see, it's barely picking it up. Damn, that's not good. Hands all twitching. But on the thrusters in here, you know, they have the gray, then there's a red inset. I do like the color separation with all the vents and stuff. There's some great concepts, just flawed pulling it off. So like I said, this is a meh. We'll just give it a sideways thumb up on here. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the review. Hope you learned something. Any questions, comments, leave them down below. I have a lot of stuff coming up between for new type builds, and then also for, you know, everybody else that I'm reviewing for. Thanks again for sticking around. I will talk to you guys all later. Peace out.